couple seconds. I go out there, I think sometimes I think it's turn the corner.
As soon as the mics turn on, should be good.
Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday, October 12th, 2021 Newcastle City Council meeting at 6:30. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Cameron,
Here.
Mr. Chapa,
Here.
Mr. Fulkerson,
Here.
Ms. Gavro,
Yes, by Zoom.
Mr. Smith.
Here. At this time, could I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 6th and July 8th?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron,
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson,
Yes.
Ms. Gavro,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Under adoption of agenda, I have acknowledgement of a prepared agenda, and under considerations of requests to be heard and amendments to the agenda. I think under requests to be heard, we have one individual this evening, Hugh Courier. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Okay, do I have a motion to accept Mr. Hugh Courier to be a speaker this evening?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson,
Yes.
Ms. Gavro,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. At this time, can I have a motion to adopt the final agenda?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson,
Yes.
Ms. Gavro,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Courier, you can come forward to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry. You're good. There's like a little delay.
Hugh Courier, 8 West Moody Avenue. Tonight, I would like to thank City Council and the mayor for letting us do our projects out at Cascade Park, the Vietnam Agent Orange Veterans Project. I'm happy to say that we put 700 feet of fencing, white fencing out there. The volunteers worked the last 9 weeks out there putting it up. And as an extra bonus, we are going to do from the bridge of the left of the bridge and do all that too in the white fencing too, so it matches. Also, I'm personally inviting you guys. I know some of you guys can't make it, and young ladies. I forgot the date. The 14th of August at Cascade Park at 10 a.m. We're honoring George Streets, Senior. He was the first killed in action from Vietnam. And we're also going to be honoring our great veterans that has passed away from complications of Agent Orange 2. We got families coming in from Vegas, Maryland. We got representatives from the American Legion, the 26th district. The leader of this district's coming in to be our main speaker. Also, we got Patriot Riders coming in. The Vietnam Combat Motorcycle Association's coming in, the Leathernecks. So we got a good representatives of motorcycle and veterans coming in to escort the families from the town mall out to Cascade Park. So I just want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to do out there. We do have some more projects we'd like to do, so I'd like to meet with you guys one of these days to discuss our things, because we won't do no projects anywhere without it being a veteran or something to do with the military. And that's what our goal is and part of my organization. So thank you again.
Thank you, Hugh. At this time, under letter C, administration comments. Mr. Mayor?
I don't have any prepared comments, but I do want to say I'm happy to hear that our system is working. This was a collaborative effort for administration and council that we finally got to work. It seems like everything's working good, and I just want to say I know I made a post yesterday about Lafayette Street. Construction is going to be started there. I got a call yesterday evening about it. So Lafayette Street, and if we'll continue to keep the public updated on how that's going. But everything from the right-of-ways, everything was secured to extend that drain out and to fix that flooding in that area. But that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have no written receipt of written communications under fiscal and contractual transactions. Under A, we do have a motion to authorize the extending the deadline of the Community Development Coordinator for the Newcastle Citywide Development Corporation from July 30th, 2021 until September 15th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. We have no receipt of bids, no acceptance of bids. Under reports of officials, bureaus, commissions, and city council inquiries. Yeah. No, I'll go. Yeah, I apologize. Let's do the motion to receive and file the City Planning Commission recommendation to approve the request of Ethel and Dennis Wyatt. This is a reverse subdivision consisting of two parcels. This is in the general area of 412 Denver Street and in the 5th Ward.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes, there will be a public hearing for Tuesday, August 21st, 2021 at 6 p.m. Next, a motion to receive and file from the Lawrence County Planning Commission for the request of Ethel and Dennis Wyatt for the 4 parcels in around the 412 Denver Street in the 5th Ward.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Next, motion to receive and file City Planning Commission recommendation recommending the approval of the conditional use request of Jason Marone for automotive sales and service at the repairs at 1025 South Mill Street. This is in the C1 General Business District of the 5th Ward.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. A public hearing has been scheduled for Tuesday, August 24th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Moving along, we have no special reports. Now, we'll go to City Council reports and inquiries.
Mr. Cameron.
You, I just want to say thank you for what you do and your volunteers. You guys do nice work, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Chapa.
No, I have nothing.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Again, thank you to you, your volunteers, everybody that's involved in,
I
know
can't
you-
hear.
I know you have your ups and downs out there and that, working with different people and that, but my hat's off to you. Everything that you say you're gonna do, you do it. And I admire that. Okay, so keep up the good work. And the fence does look good out at Cascade Park. People are noticing it already. And I told them it's not city that did that. It was you and your volunteers. So again, thank you. That's about it. So move on.
Ms. Gavril?
Thank you. Thank you for your dedication. I have a couple things. One, I have three things. The FOP will have their annual Night at the Races on October 9th at Cascade Park. The Newcastle Fire Department will have their annual golf outing September 4th at Sylvan Heights. The other thing I want to talk about, and Ted can also breeze in on this, we're going to have a back to school enforcement project area. The area, we're going to do this on August 27th, which is right before school begins. This includes code, fire, police, and public works. We're going to go into the neighborhood from Lincoln Avenue to Wallace Avenue, or to Park Avenue, between Highland and Rural Avenue. And what we hope to do is to make this a very positive thing for the residents, but also to point out their deficiencies on their properties. We intend to hope that in the next 2 weeks, people beautify their properties a little bit, get ready for back to school. We hope to give out information to those who may need housing rehab or other things. We want to give out courtesy cards to those parking incorrectly on the streets. And we want to keep doing this around the city. We thought we'd start there first because of back to school. Ted, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, the biggest thing is, like you said, we want to hopefully we'll be able to cajole the residents to clean up their houses and in the neighborhoods. Did you hear? No, you covered it.
Thank you. I'm done.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Wanted to inquire where we were to the mayor and to the solicitors on the Shenango China property and the fines and any progress. I know we brought that up Tuesday evening. Are we current with the property owner?
Last I spoke with last week or this week, spoke with code enforcement, and they do have citations that have been filed. They were delayed. The hearings were delayed because the principal in the company cannot, Mr. Choi, cannot get into the country because of COVID. So the hearings have been delayed, but we have cited them and are waiting hearings.
Well, I'm bringing this up because I think you're allowed to travel back and forth in between the two countries now.
Well, but I believe they're scheduled again for, it might be September, October. Yeah, so,
Okay.
but they had been continued by the court because of that. But now, yes, they are able to.
And is this a new batch of
Yes,
citations?
yes. It's
And-
my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What about the existing citations from, Tim, 2 years ago?
Could be as, yes, as
He paid those,
remember,
sorry, yes.
Oh, so they're paid in full?
He paid everything, and then there was some stuff that from last year when I came in that would have I don't want to say expired, but it would have gone away because of the officers were no longer here. But everything prior to us getting here, he had already paid up, and he has that record of continuously paying. He had some like Teddy followed up with him, but our current code officers have filed I think it's in the amount of over $15,000 to $20,000 worth of fines. We've also used drones to go to the top to see the roof of the building as well to identify additional fines on top of what he has. So whenever I haven't made it, I didn't get a chance to go to court because of COVID. But this upcoming one, I'll get a full report from the district magistrate for when he does show.
Can we utilize working with the DEP again, like we did 2 years ago? And because remember that they,
Yeah, when this case was in the Court of Common Pleas, DEP was at every hearing we had on the violations as the court monitored progress or lack of progress. Ultimately, it ended up with guilty pleas to a number of those violations. I think it was like 15 with a $1,000 fine on each, perhaps more. I don't know what happened to the DEP side of that. They had a separate case, but the court was scheduling their monitoring status conferences with our citation conferences. Once our case was over, I don't know if DEP continued to have monitoring court hearings or not.
We actually have a meeting next week to discuss some of that.
amongst just with code,
DEP.
us, and DEP?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is it possible you could send us just out an email and?
Absolutely. The DEP, a lot of the work that they've been doing is with the Regional Chamber of Commerce, and they've received that grant to get access to the premises to do some more environmental studies. So they've been kind of keeping us in the loop of that. So we haven't spearheaded the DEP side of it, but this upcoming meeting, we'll brief everybody on that, on what's going on. But if you notice, if you go by, he has, I think in the consent decree, to keep the grass cut, things like that, just to maintain the area. But there's other things that have surfaced from a recent report from that went to DEP, that there's some structural issues that they're going to brief us on the next one.
Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, that's all I have, thank you. Okay, under resolutions, we have on the table none to be acted from the table, or removed from the table and acted on, none. Under C, new resolutions, we do have some repository properties this evening. Again, as we all know, under the next 5, we have to, if we vote no, there's certain reasons. No, dilapidated, uninhabitable, back on taxes, code violations, etc. So the first one for a motion to approve, Resolution 2021-138, authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by Eric Ritter in the amount of $550.99 for repository property located at Cumberland Avenue. This is a vacant lot.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron?
Yes.
Mr. Chapa?
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson?
Yes.
Ms. Gavro?
Yes,
Mr. Smith?
Yes. Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-139, authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by Eric Young in the amount of $250 for the repository property located at Florence Avenue, and this is a vacant lot.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron?
Yes.
Mr. Chapa?
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson?
Yes.
Ms. Gavro?
yes,
Mr. Smith?
Yes. A motion to approve Resolution 2021-140, authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by Eric Young in the amount of $250 for the acceptance for the repository property located at Florence Avenue. This is a vacant lot.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron?
Yes.
Mr. Chapa?
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson?
Yes.
Ms. Gavro?
yes,
Mr. Smith?
Yes. A motion to approve Resolution 2021-141, authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by Thomas J. Casey in the amount of $500 for the repository property located at West Washington Street. This is a vacant lot.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Madam Clerk, I thought we had one more on here that was, there was a withdrawn. Didn't we have to vote that down? No, sir. Gentlemen, remember that?
There
There was.
was two from Casey, wasn't there?
There's
Yeah.
another
Yeah,
one
that's
on
on
the
there,
second
but there was
page.
another
There was
one.
a lady that withdrew hers from, I thought it was,
That's not on there. I don't have a reason.
forget the street, and I don't have mine
Usually-
out the other night.
Mary Ann, do you have your paperwork with you?
Latoya
I'm
Price.
sorry, can you repeat what you said, Tom?
There, I thought we had another repository property that it was withdrawn, but I do believe we still have to deny it, correct?
I believe that you're right,
Latoya Price.
Right, do you have the property?
but it is on,
East
yeah,
Washington-
Stephanie got it from
East
my
Washington
pal.
Street.
Okay, so,
I think she withdrew her bid because she thought it was a vacant lot, or she thought it was a residential
But you still
as
want us to
opposed to
deny it?
vacant.
Okay, if everyone's okay, when we get to the end, we'll add that on as resolution 155. Okay? Thank you. Next is resolution 2021-142, authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by Thomas J. Casey in the amount of $724.99 for repository property located 1223 Rebecca Street. This is a residential dwelling. This is a house that is on the county demo list.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the
Mr. Cameron.
No. Dilapidated.
Mr. Chapa.
No, uninhabitable.
Mr. Fulkerson.
No, uninhabitable.
Ms. Gavro.
No, dilapidated.
Mr. Smith.
No, uninhabitable. Next, motion to approve Resolution 2021-143, authorizing the appropriate city officials to submit a grant application through the 2021-2022 Fire Company Emergency Medical Services Company Grant Program.
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
Second by Cameron. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-144, approving the change order number 2 in the increase amount not to exceed $210,000 to contract number 2021-03-2021 paving road in through Youngbud Paving Company. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? I would like to make the remark that the money will be reimbursed by the Newcastle Sanitation Authority. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-145, authorizing the Newcastle Police Department to submit a grant application through the Pennsylvania Office of the Attorney General Community Drug Abuse Program in the amount of $2,000 for a police leading active youth program.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-146, authorization to amend the multimodal regional River Rock project grant from $740,000 to $1,103,939.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
No.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Motion to approve Resolution 2021-147, approving modification of the fiscal year 2018 and 19 Community Development Block Grant.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Motion to approve Resolution 2021-148, designating Sean Anderson as the 504 officer for the City of Newcastle.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Motion to approve Resolution 2020-149, designating Sean Anderson as the Fair Housing Officer.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. A motion to approve Resolution 2021-150, authorizing the President of City Council to affix his signature to the preliminary final land development plat for Pentex Venture 1015 LLC for Dollar General, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, for the construction of a Dollar General retail store to be located at 1102 Highland Avenue in the Neighborhood Improvement Overlay District of the Second Ward, and authorizing the mayor and city controller to enter into the operations and maintenance agreement, stormwater best management practices with Pentex Venture 1015 LLC.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we have an anticipated date of, be commencing?
Yes, I believe, Madam Gavril, demo is supposed to start within 2 to 3 weeks, and with anticipation of opening before or shortly after the holidays.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. We're 1 for 1 tonight, Mr. Fulkerson and Mr. Chopper with their phones.
That was, no, man.
No, I got a problem here with water, so.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Just, Mr. Chopper, you all right? You need to take a recess?
No, I'm
sure?
just trying to get someone to go fix a water problem.
Take a break, Tim.
No, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right.
Almost done.
Motion to approve Resolution 2021-151, authorizing the mayor and city controller to enter into a settlement agreement and release of claims approved by the solicitor with Tamara Gibson.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Motion to approve Resolution 2021-152, authorizing the mayor and city controller to enter into a settlement agreement and release of claims approved by the solicitor with Anthony Chaffee.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Abstain.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Just
Is
1
it
minute.
okay
Yeah,
that-
just for one, for the record, you need to state why you abstained. Otherwise, it's not a valid abstention. So, just,
Unrelated.
yeah, okay, that, just for the record, yes. Okay, thank you.
Can we also, is he allowed to second it? Since he abstained? I just want to make sure, so it's,
It probably,
I will.
what's that?
Do you want to withdraw your second, and I'll?
Yes.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay.
Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-153, authorizing the mayor and city controller to enter into a settlement agreement with and release of claims approved by the solicitor with Fred Droder.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Next, a motion to approve Resolution 2021-154, authorizing the City Fire Department to submit a grant application through the Pennsylvania American Water 2021 Fire Support Grant Program in the amount of $500 to purchase a structural firefighting nozzle.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa. Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, add this one now.
Next, can I have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-154,
Five.
authorizing, hold on, you moved it on me. Authorizing the mayor and city controller to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid by Latoya Rice in the amount of $500, accepting for the repository property located at East Lutton Street, rear. This is a vacant lot. This property was withdrawn, their bid, by Mrs. Rice.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
No, dilapidated.
Is this a vacant lot, correct?
It's a vacant.
Yeah.
No, it's a vacant lot, so I think well, yeah, we can reference it was withdrawn.
Okay. No, withdrawn.
Okay. Mr. Chapa.
Same, no, withdraw.
Mr. Fulkerson.
No withdrawal.
Ms. Gavro.
No, withdrawn.
And Mr. Smith.
No, withdrawn.
That was 155, correct?
155,
Thank
correct.
you.
You're welcome. Where's the other fire grant?
Both on
Said it wasn't ready yet.
Wasn't ready?
You're right.
Okay.
It's right here. That was it. The fire emergency
Okay.
medical services.
All right.
It was this last one.
All right.
He just came in with it first thing this morning. The water company one.
Okay. Can I have a motion to remove from the table Council Bill 2021-17?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa.
Yes.
Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. Can I have a motion to adopt Council Bill 2021-17, authorizing to accept the deed to Lot 473, located in the 7th Ward in Section 41 of the official survey map of the City of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, having permit parcel ID number 07-125100, introduced by Madam Gavriel.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cameron.
Yes.
Mr. Chapa. Mr. Fulkerson.
Yes.
Ms. Gavro.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes. I have introduced and table Council Bill 2021-18. This is for the request of Ethel and Dennis Wyatt for the subdivision consisting of four parcels.
Introduced.
Introduced by Cameron. Okay, do we have any new business?
Yeah, I got one thing real quick. Yeah, I had a couple calls recently about the rentals out the park. Yeah, I'd like to amend the ordinance.
I can't hear you.
I had a couple calls about the rentals out the park. And I think it's just good business for us. I know the mayor's, follows these ordinances, and he should. But I think our city employees should be given not a tax break, 50% off of these rentals. I've worked at several places, and I always had, certain perks if you work for this company or that company. So I would like to see this, for us to amend the ordinance. referring to the solicitor, maybe put it on our next meeting. I think it's just good business.
I agree with you. I think it's a morale booster as well.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Put it on. You said?
Yeah.
Add it on the
Go
next
for it.
agenda. Okay.
Madam Gavril?
I don't have a problem with it. I believe we probably should have did this about a month ago, but I'm glad that we're going to amend the ordinance now. I think that it's important to give perks to our city employees.
Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned at 7:06. Thank you.
By the way, you're all on YouTube. It's very clear